Welcome back to the final round. Johnson & Johnson, one of the only Dow stocks in the green today. This, of course, on the heels of news that it began its stage 3 of its clinical trials for its coronavirus vaccine. It'll be the largest, plans to enroll just around 60,000. Anjalee Khemlani has more on this today for us. Anjalee?
Thanks, Shauna. Yep. So we have heard from Johnson & Johnson, one of the most anticipated to enter the race because it offers a different technology. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is based on the same technology that it used for its Ebola virus vaccine. And so that brings a different perspective. We know that right now the two frontrunners are using untested technology in the market. That's mRNA technology, which requires a deep freezing to a certain degree for some of them. And so what Johnson & Johnson does is, number one, removes the need for that deep freezing. And number two, it's going to be a single shot vaccine. And that's a really important because when we're talking about, the patients having to return to the clinic and really follow up and ensure that they're getting that second shot for these other vaccines, that requires a little bit more, participation and a little bit more overview. So that is one thing to look out for. Meanwhile, today we heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci in front of a Senate committee hearing, as well as Dr. Redfield and Commissioner Hahn of the FDA. And we heard a lot about really the timeline that we're looking at right now. Lots of focus on when a vaccine will be available. It looks less likely that one will be available by election day or even approved by then, with the FDA even looking to sort of draw out that timeline to possibly include a 2-month observational period, which extends it from what it currently is. But listen to what Dr. Anthony Fauci had to say about that today.
As these trials go on, we predict that sometime by the end of this year, let's say November or December, we will know whether or not these are safe and effective. And as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, right now, doses of this vaccine are being produced so that they'll be ready to be distributed.
So as you hear, looking towards that end of the year timeline, we heard from Johnson & Johnson themselves saying that they might have some result by the end of the year. Meanwhile, the other two in the front of the race by the end of October, early November as of now. So still waiting to see how that all pans out. Shauna?
Yeah. Anjalee, quick question. Is the thought here that we really need multiple vaccines to work in order to, have this best hope to get the pandemic under control in the shortest amount of time?
100% for multiple reasons, and something that Dr. Redfield has actually just recently addressed when we're talking about, the states really ramping up and waiting to see how that distribution process occurs. There are going to be different effects of these vaccines on different age groups, particularly focusing on the younger adults as well as children, pregnant women, the very elderly. Everyone is going to be reacting differently, and so it remains to be seen just sort of which vaccines prove to be most effective on these groups, and that sort of dictates where the priority ends up being.